So, perfect. All right, so we're recording. So, if you have a team that's not on here, go ahead and text them because they're not going to want to miss this because, like, Emerald in 3 weeks, like, what the heck? Okay, so, but she also promoted a presidential really, really fast too. So, go ahead and tell people your story because I think a lot of people don't know your story yet.
Okay, so you cracked me up, by the way. But anyways, my name is Kristen Kirkendall, and I'm a presidential diamond with It Works. I joined this business in April of 2015. But honestly, like, my story started before that. So I was living in a different state and found out I was pregnant literally the month that we moved, like 6 hours away from home, which is a long ways for me because, like, I've always been right next to my family. And so I decided, I was an insurance agent, and I decided that I wanted to stay at home, and I didn't see the point in me going to work whenever basically my paycheck would pay for daycare, and I just didn't want to do that. So my husband and I made the decision, like, things were good. We weren't struggling financially or anything like that. But then, like, as time went on, like, the oil field is just like a crazy business. My husband's in the oil field. That's why we moved. And I decided to move back because I was still driving back and forth to doctor's appointments. And it was just, like, really stressful driving 7 hours one way for a freaking doctor's appointment and all of these different things. So I moved back, and then he came back, and he had a job that he was promised, blah, blah, blah. Well, literally 2 days before Ella was born, which is my oldest daughter, he found out whenever he moved back here that job wasn't available anymore. And so that was, like, really stressful because I had already quit my job like 3 months before that. And now he didn't have a job, and we just, like, literally were about to have a baby. So from there on, like, everything just kind of went downhill, and we were, like, struggling paycheck to paycheck, blah, blah, blah. That whole story, like, it was terrible. And I saw Courtney Blavy post on Instagram literally about a Ruby bonus that I had already thought that she actually earned. Like, I thought she already got it. And I texted her right away, and I was like, listen, like, I want to do this. Like, I don't really care. Like, I didn't ask her really a lot of questions. I was just like, how do I do it? Like, I want to do it now. And I signed up like 2 days later once Tyson got a check, and, like, I left literally like $20 in our bank account because I was so desperate, like, for something to work, or else I was going to have to go back and get a 9-to-5 job, which I didn't want to do. And so I started, and I'm sure most of you guys know her story. Like, she promoted really fast, and we just kind of were like ignorance on fire. Like, I was just so, like, tunnel vision. I just knew whenever I joined this business, if I did not make it work, I was going to be stuck in my same situation. Plus, I was going to be having to go get a job and put my child in daycare. I'm like, for those of you who have kids, you know that daycare costs as much as you make at your job, like most jobs. And so I just did not want that life. Like, I didn't want to do that. And so I just got to work. Like, I just started telling everybody about it. I put a wrap on myself that I got in my kit. I got amazing results after 2 wraps, and I just started texting it to everybody. I was just like, look, like, this is what I'm telling you about. Like, I'm serious. And before I joined, like, I didn't even know what products they had. Like, no idea. My mom had, like, tried to wrap like 3 years before that. And I remember, like, the day of my wedding, I was like, where are those freaking wraps? I need to wrap my chin. And they probably would have been like 2 years old by then. But I just remember, like, wanting a wrap. And so I kind of, like, heard of it, but nobody really, like, did it where I live or anything. And so we just kind of, like, took off, and I ended up going Emerald. I joined on April 9th. So by the end of April, I went Emerald, and then Diamond the next month, Double the next month, and Triple the next month. So it was a really fast journey, and it was like, but it was, like, so much fun. And I just loved, like, I fell in love with this business and the people, and I just kept going. And then I guess I took, within 11 months, I went presidential, and that was in March of 2016, which is, wow, that's really crazy. That was 2 years ago. But I went presidential in March of 2016, and still going strong. Like, I still love it. And, like, this Emerald bonus just, like, makes me, like, relive all of my memories of going Emerald, because it's really funny because, and I know this is probably crazy to hear, but, like, I didn't even know what Emerald was. And, like, you always hear people say, like, they joined for an extra $500 a month. Well, that was me. Like, what? My child woke up. I literally joined for $500 a month. And so I didn't know emerald or diamond or triple, like none of that was in my, like, I just knew that I went ruby in like 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, what do I do now? And Courtney's like, dude, you're going emerald and I'm going diamond. I was like, okay, let's do this. And so like, I just did it. Like I didn't put much thought into it. I just did the work and it fell into place. And so, that's my story. I kind of rambled a little bit, but I just like got excited. Sorry.
No, that was so got excited for you. You're totally fine. That was so good. Okay, so I'm looking at some of the questions that we have, and they're kind of all over the place because I asked.
That's fine.
Everybody everywhere. Okay, so I'll just ask you in order. So these might kind of be all over the place, but I'll just ask you in order of the questions that we have. Hopefully we can get through all of them. But what are your go-to messages for the people that you do know, / people that you haven't talked to in forever / people that you don't know at all? I personally use a pretty much like the same message for all those people, and if I just know them, I'll change it up to be a little bit more personal, but they want to know what you would say. Like, what's a good message that you use or that you did use back then?
Okay, so something that I used, and like I actually did this whenever I promoted to presidential too, and I signed 15 customers in 2 days. Like, what I did was I went through the contacts in my phone. I didn't care if I knew them or if we were close or whatever. I was like, hey, listen, like I'm up for a $5,000 bonus. And, would you be willing to help me out and order something from me? Like we have a bunch of different products, like something super simple and short. I sent it to my husband's friends in my contacts. I sent it to my friends, my mom's friends, like anybody that was in my phone got this text message. And literally like people that I never would have expected signed up as a customer, and like they ordered a lot of stuff. Like I got a lot of high BV orders from this, and I was like, wow, like I should do this all the time. And I did that too whenever I first started. Like I just started texting people. I remember the first night, like I got on my eSuite and I was like, wow, like they have a lot of products. Like what is this stuff? And I just started writing down like, okay, my grandma would want this, my mom would want this, my sister would want this, my best friend would want this. Oh gosh, my dog is fighting. Sorry. Squirrel. Okay. So anyways, I started writing on Copper, can you stop? I can't freaking concentrate. I started writing them down and I was just like, listen, like I just joined this business and they have this stuff that you would love, so you should buy it. Like I'm just that kind of person. Like I'm pretty straight and to the point. Like you should buy this because it would help me and I would love you for it and you would love it and blah, blah, blah. So texting people that you know, like I feel like is a really great tool that people don't use a lot because we're afraid. And when I went presidential, I was going for that $100,000 bonus. I was not afraid. Like right now, if I started doing that, I might be a little bit nervous. Like, okay, what are these people going to say? But if you're going for a bonus or a promotion and like you're focused, who cares? Like if they ignore you, like whatever, we're still friends. And if we're not, then that's fine too. But just like do what you have to do. And then for people that I don't know, like I probably send the same thing that Morgan does. Like I'm going to be a product tester, blah, blah, blah. And then when I'm messaging on Facebook, because I have started doing that a lot lately, like with my Facebook list, I just put their name instead of like, hey girl or whatever. And like, I don't use the whole, like, I love your page. Like, I don't know if you have that in your message or not, but I don't put that stuff in there because I feel like Facebook people are more like onto you when you send messages. So I just keep it simple and put their name in the front. Dude, I drank too much keto coffee today. Sorry.
You're fine.
Like my heart's racing.
That's
Jeez.
so funny.
Okay.
No, you're totally fine. That was a good answer. So, and that's basically what I do too. So sometimes it just helps to know that like that's what other leaders are teaching too, and like that's working. I think the biggest thing is like that it's not like one magical word that you do that I don't, or that they're not doing that you are. And it's like not really any magical wording. Obviously there's good, better, best, and you want to message the best way possible, but like everybody's messaging. You just have to like actually message. Like it doesn't necessarily matter what you say as long as you're saying something. So I think that's the biggest thing to remember too, is just the quality or the quantity of what you're like, how many people that you're messaging a day. So if I'm signing people and you're not, it's not that I'm saying something better than what you are. It's just that I'm messaging more people than you are.
Yeah, I always say that. I'm like, it doesn't matter what message you send, like it's how many you send. Because trust me, whenever I first started, the message I sent was so spammy looking. Like it's embarrassing to think that I was sending that. But I didn't know. I was just messaging everybody and nobody, like it didn't matter. Like it's just the fact that you're sending messages, like what you're saying.
Yes, and that was me at the beginning too. I was like looking back at messages and I was like, oh gosh, why did I say that? But
So
it worked. I signed people. So like really it doesn't matter. Okay, so Macy is going double diamond and she wants to know, what are your techniques for filling volume fast?
So something that Courtney Lively, she's my upline, obviously, she taught me was to go, like focus on your 400 boxes that are right underneath you. So like we would message our teams and just be like, listen, like I'm going to focus on these two people, and the Ruby is going to focus on the first two people on their top line, and the executive, you know, so on and so forth, like going down. And just knowing where your volume needs to go. And something else that I always do when I'm promoting is I stock my downline activity like nobody's business. If you sign a customer, I'm texting you right then. I'm like, listen, where are you moving that customer? Like, do you know where that customer's going? Do you know where that distributor's going? And so that, because some people literally don't know, like they forget, or especially with the 24 hours, like, my gosh, that's like not enough time to move your people sometimes. So I just like stay on top of it and make sure that everybody has a game plan and like that they know. And even if I do feel confident that they know, I still message them like, hey, did you move your customer? Or like, do you know where you're moving her? Or whatever, just so that everybody is doing their part and you don't miss like ADBV just because somebody forgot to move somebody or they didn't know where they were supposed to move them.
Yeah, because knowing your charts and like your updated volumes is so important. And if you don't know how to update your volumes, if you don't know how to see where your volumes are at and where they're going to be and project them for the end of the month, talk to your upline or your enroller, because they do know and they can show you how to do that, because knowing what your volumes are at all times is crucial to your promotion. So yes, super important. Okay, hang on. Let me find the next question. It was, what are tips for messaging whenever you're blocked? Obviously, we know that when we're going for promotions, we like message so many people, and I know I got blocked a ton trying to go triple. So what do you do whenever you're blocked from messaging and you're trying to promote so you can't just like not message?
So I would go back to Facebook if I got blocked on Instagram, vice versa. Or I would do what I was saying earlier is like texting people. And then another thing is I have another Instagram account. So that's like my backup for, which I don't have a lot of followers on there, but it does help whenever I get blocked, especially since it's Instagram. I don't know. I just like Instagram. So it's good to like have a backup sometimes if you can like do two. So that's usually what I do. Like if I get blocked on one, I just go message somewhere else.
And another thing that you have to remember too is like you're blocked for messaging new people, not people that you already talked to.
Oh yeah.
So if you already have a message thread with them, because I do have a second Instagram too, and I literally never use it except for whenever I'm blocked. And then like you'll just start seeing me post randomly on there. And I have a stinking third Instagram that I made whenever I was going triple, and I was blocked on my first one for a week. Blocked on my second one for that weekend too, and I was like, I'm going to go crazy, so I created a third one. Haven't used it since, but I did get customers from it. Like I was just messaging as many people as possible. But remember that you can literally scroll back down to the very bottom of your messages and unsend messages and resend them, because if they didn't respond back to you, and it's been like, I mean, obviously we texted them yesterday and they didn't respond, you're not going to message them again today. But if you scroll down to the bottom, you can re-message people that you've already messaged or people that you've had a conversation with and follow up with those people. You can use Facebook. You can use another Instagram account. You can use texting. I mean, anything, Instagram polls, or like have them, you know, text you, all that stuff. So there's so many ways that you can get around being blocked for messaging. But one thing that I would say is if you're blocked for messaging, do not try to like message again for a while, or you're going to be blocked for a long time.
At least wait like 24 hours. Like that's what I do, or 12, like, because every time you try, like I got blocked for 5 days and it was torture once because I didn't know that every time I was trying to send a message, I got blocked again. So I was like, crap. But yeah, I forgot the unsend resend. I do that too all the time. Like it's you can go back, man, I can go back like 2 years, be like, hey, what's up?
Exactly. So and it's actually cool to be blocked because then it forces you to be a little bit more creative than just like message. Like you're like, hey, what else can I do? And then you like come up with all these new tips for yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, team, guess what? I just found out you can do this and I got so many customers. So don't look at it as a negative thing. Anytime that I get blocked, I'm like, pat myself on the back, like, good job, Morgan. You messaged so many people that you got blocked. Okay. So anyways, all right. The next one, what types of posts did you get more responses from and how often did you post? So I think they're asking
Back then?
Yeah, / and now. I mean, especially whenever you went Emerald, but I know that what I did whenever I went Ruby and Emerald is not necessarily what I would still do, but like, were you posting a lot of before and after pictures? I think a lot of people have now strayed from doing that because they're not cute, but I think it's so important to post before and after pictures because it doesn't matter what your page looks like if you're not enrolling people. That's my personal opinion. But what do you think? Like, what were you posting? What do you post now that gets a lot of interaction and response and enrollment for distributors and customers?
So something like to remember is that whenever I went Emerald, there were no algorithms. Like they didn't exist. So keep that in mind. But I literally posted before and afters like all day, every day, literally all the time. And for like distributors, I was like going through, I went back like for our team and I was like, I'm going to show you guys like what I posted whenever I was brand new. And I would just be like, I have 2 spots open on my Ruby like team or whatever, like who wants to join me? Like that's literally what I would say. And I was, what's the matter? You're what? Oh no, you're saying. Sorry. I do not know what I was saying. Oh, and I would just like post like simple things like that. Obviously I didn't have a story. I was just like, I was always talking about where I was going to be, like that I was going to get, back then there was a Ruby bonus. Like I was getting this bonus or like Diamond, like I was going to get that bonus and so on. And then now, okay, bring it here, Ella. I'm working. Sorry, she's been up since 4:30 in the morning, so it's been a great day. And she cut her foot, and she literally thinks that she can't walk. So it's just drama central in this house right now.
He sounds like Derek.
She's like, "Come pick me up." I'm like, "It's a cut this big, you can freaking walk." But she is 3, so maybe I should be nicer. But gosh, anyways, so now like before and afters are still so important. I just put them in my story. Like they go away in 24 hours. I've never had anyone complain about it, and if they do, like I really don't care. Or if you put it on your page, like I put it like in a swipe, like where the first picture isn't a before and after, but they can swipe and see before and afters. I always like send my personal results whenever I message like for a product. I send that person my personal results on that product because I have results with almost all the products I usually talk about. Time out for just like 5 seconds. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. I can take over for a second. So, okay. So another thing that I want to add to that is on Facebook with a before and after picture, you probably get like 2 likes. Who cares, first of all? Like, I know that I used to be like, oh my gosh, I only got 2 likes. I'm so taking this post down. That is so embarrassing. Like, nobody liked my picture. Oh my gosh. But like, if you look at Ambassador Diamonds, like some of their before and after pictures have like 4 likes too, but it's okay because people are seeing your stuff even if they don't like it. But one thing that I've changed, and this has helped, is that I put a status and I'll say like, OMG, this happened in 7 hours, and then do the little like this thing emoji and like do like a bunch of those. And then I post it in the comments and it's a wrap result from 7 hours later. And so then they're like, wait, what happened in 7 hours? They click on your post, which I think helps the algorithm. I'm kind of making this up right now, but I feel like it does. But I know whenever people comment on your post, I know that that does help. So when you comment on your own post, it's like that interaction. And then people like comments, like that stuff helps. So you're basically boosting your own algorithm by doing it that way, and people don't see it right away. And if somebody posts something and they're like, dude, this changed, or I can't believe this, like, I can't believe my body changed this much in 6 hours, or I can't believe this happened in an hour. People are going to be like, what? Like, they're going to want to know what you're talking about. So, okay. I just threw that out there. If you have anything to add, you totally can.
I gotta unmute myself. No, that was good. I agree with everything you said. Basically, you just have to post. Like, I usually on Instagram, I post like 2-3 times a day. You just have to, another thing, like, you have to be consistent. Like, in everything in this business, consistency is like everything, with messaging, with posting, with following up. Like, everything, you have to be consistent in order to be successful, because people are literally, especially if you're new, like, I just remember like people were just wanting me to fail at this. And the fact that I just like kept going and kept going, then like people started joining me, people who were like laughing at me in the beginning, or like every time like I promoted, I signed so many distributors because they realized like what I was doing was actually working. And so just being consistent with everything, especially like with posting and stuff, like you can't just like decide you're going to post like once a week and expect to get good results. Morgan, you're frozen right now. Oh, that's funny. It's okay, I understand. I live in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, well, my internet cut out. It sounded like somebody was like pouring water out of a faucet, and I was like gonna go to mute you, and then like everyone was frozen, and I was like, oh, okay, that's me. So, all right. So, what was the last thing that you said? Oh, posting. I hate everything. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Gosh.
That was a cute face.
Oh my gosh. Oh, bless it. Okay, it's not gonna mess up at all anymore. This Zoom, I'm claiming it. Speaking
No.
over this stupid Wi-Fi. Okay, so what I was gonna say, maybe I should just not say it, because every time I try, like, maybe the Lord just doesn't want me to say this. Just kidding. So if you're posting so much, and like you may feel repetitive, but you have to remember that people aren't seeing every single one of your posts. Like, you're posting it, so it's gonna feel repetitive to you, but like I'm not seeing, like, sometimes people will come in and they're like some of my best friends, and they're like, hey, did you see my post like 2 days ago about this? And I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I didn't even see some of my best friends post. So like, it's very likely that random people that don't know you are seeing all of your posts. So don't feel like every single time you post, like they're seeing the same thing over and over again. It just feels that way. And when you post over and over and over again, people start to think of you as like the it works girl. So guess what? If they ever want to have, like, if they ever want it works, guess who they're going to come to? I had a girl last month. I remember this. This is probably a story that I'll share a lot with people because it was really cool. This girl, I had talked to her back in like before. I talked to her about hair, skin, and nails before we even had the Black Friday sales, which was back in Black Friday, so November. But I had talked to her multiple times. Like, me talking to her for the Black Friday sales was me following up with her about how we had talked about hair, skin, and nails so much before. So I hadn't talked to her in a while. Like, I followed up with her. She kept ghosting me over and over again. I kept following up. I keep posting about hair, skin, and nails. Y'all see me post all the time, or maybe you don't because you don't see all my posts, but I post about it all the time so consistently. And she came to me and she was like, my hairstylist yesterday told me that I needed It Works hair, skin, and nails for my hair because she had used them and she knows that they work so well. So I thought about you. I'm ready to order now because I know we've talked about it before. Why did she think of me? Because I can guarantee that I am not the only It Works person that's on her newsfeed. I can almost guarantee that. But she came to me because I consistently followed up with her. She said no, and I messaged her back anyways. And I always post about hair, skin, and nails. So I'm watering those seeds that I planted by messaging her every day by just posting about hair, skin, and nails again. So that's another thing about posting. Like, you have to be consistent with that, not only so that people will order now, but so that people will order later and that they'll think of you when they're ready. Okay, there was one last question on our Facebook chat, and then there's some on the team page, and then another chat. So the last one on here is, what did your daily routine look like? This is actually like a couple questions like put into one, but they're all really good.
Okay.
So what does your daily routine look like? Whenever you started, you only had just Ella.
Yeah, and she was 4 months old.
And now you have 2 kids, so it's probably a little different, but you're busy. That's bottom line. Like, you were busy, you still are busy. So how did you kind of like manage your time?
It's like hard to remember like 3 years ago, but I just did it. Like whenever I had a minute, like I was working. I did not let any time like go by that was wasted. Like I feel like I just always tried to, like I remember waking up earlier than Ella. Yeah, I didn't watch any TV besides like Mickey Mouse. And I would just sit there and message, and I would stay up late because like obviously she was a baby, she'd go to bed at like 7. So I would just stay up and talk to people. And like Courtney and I were talking about this the other day, like we would stay awake until every conversation we were having was finished. And so that was something too. Like I don't even know, like I don't remember just like being like a zombie, like I never slept, but I'm sure that I was staying up and like losing a lot of sleep just because like I was so excited and like everything was happening so fast and like I was just excited about it. So I feel like I just took advantage of my time, and I always like message whenever like, and I still do this, like if I go to like Walmart or to the like store or the mall or whatever, before I go in, like I sit in the parking lot and I send messages just because like I'm sitting there, and that way I don't forget. Like that takes like 5 minutes to send some messages while you're sitting in the parking lot. I was home a lot, so I did have like, I wasn't like running around like doing stuff a lot, but I don't know, I just did it. It's like hard to explain because and like the same thing now, like I do have like a schedule, like I try to follow. Power hours have like helped a lot. Like we started a 6 a.m. power hour, which is like brutal at first whenever you're waking up at 5:45 a.m. But like, it makes me feel so good because I get so much done. And then I feel good. Like I don't feel like guilty if I like something goes crazy when my children wake up and I didn't like get to message, you know? So settings time, like if you have to train your body to run off of less sleep, then do that. Like whether if it's staying up later or getting up earlier, like do what you have to do to make time for your business because it's going to pay off in the long run.
Yes. And so then I will start doing is putting my phone on the other side of the room because it's so easy for me to just like grab it and push snooze and like go back to sleep for, an hour. So that's something that I've got to work on. I stay up super late, so I still don't really get that much sleep, but I'm like really trying to like get less sleep so I can work more. Yeah. And that's for me. So if y'all want to take that tip, feel free to. Okay, the next one is, where are you utilizing just blitzing / mouth to mouth? I think she means belly to belly. I didn't read that before I said it.
Just kidding. Just making out with everybody. If I make out with you, will you order something?
I should like proofread these.
Sorry, that was really funny. I know what you mean though.
That's hilarious. I literally, did y'all see my face like freeze right after the like mouth to mouth?
Like turn red.
Or social media, or both.
Well, let's be honest. I've never blitzed like my entire life. The only time I ever sold wraps in public was because I was wearing an A Work shirt in Walmart, and this girl was like, "You sell wraps?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have some in my purse." And I sold her like 3 wraps, and I was like, "Cool." But like, I don't blitz. I don't know why, but I don't know. Like, I'm not even afraid to talk to people. I just don't like carry blitz cards. That's really bad. I should not be saying this to you guys, but this is the truth. So everything that I've done is like social media. Like I've tried to throw parties, and like only distributors would show up because everybody on our team wanted to know how to throw a party, but then nobody else would come because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So it just turned into a training. So I just stuck with social media. I started out more Facebook. Like I didn't have a lot of followers on Instagram. I didn't really know how to work Instagram. And I just like built my Instagram as I went. And then I like slowly like converted over to Instagram because I just liked it a lot better. And I could like get more followers and stuff like that. So now like I would say like 95% of my business is through Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And then how are you setting up your newbies and helping your newbies run with you? Like, how are you
So,
getting them started and getting them excited?
so something I've always done is like, I get their goals from the get go. Like, as soon as they join me, I'm like, okay, so what are your goals with this company? Like, did you join for discount? Did you join like to make $100? Did you join to get this bonus, or do you want to go to the top with me? Like, I just asked them. Like, I can't remember the exact wording, but I've done this like literally since I started, and that for one helps me know like first where to place them on a chart, because if they just want to order products, then I don't want to put them in a leadership position. Like, they're going to be like a good $400 when they're ordering their products. If they want to run, like, I let them run. And I always send this message like, hey, like, I just want you to know, like, I'm here to run with you or walk with you, whatever you want to do. Like, I'm here. So I'm going to give you a post and a message to send out to your friends and family. So make a list of like 25 to 30 people that you're going to send this message to. And, like, I was like, does that sound good? And they're like, yeah. So then I send them their first post. I tell them to screenshot me every single comment message that they get until they understand like what they're doing. And that also lets me know like who's actually putting in the work. So I know like where to put my time and like who's serious about it and who's not. And some people are going to join you and like never talk to you again. And that's just like how it is. Like, not everybody is going to be amazing at this business or like want it, or like maybe they'll want it later. Like right when they sign up, they're not all about it. And then like it comes to them like, okay, I need this. So I also have a newbie chat, and I just kind of put like training videos and let them ask questions. And I do like a new one every month. So it's not like, I don't know, like, so the people who were in January aren't getting all the new February people's questions. You know what I mean? And like, once they know what they're doing, I add them to like, me and Courtney have like a team chat or whatever. But, so I do a newbie chat, and I did that for a while and I kind of stopped, but then I started doing it again in January because I really liked it and it seems to work really well. But yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is like figuring out their goals and like what they really want, because they may just want to order products and that's okay. But you need to know that so that you're not expecting them to want to go Ambassador Diamond whenever they just signed up to order products.
Yeah, so true. Okay. Sorry, it's loading.
No, you're fine.
Okay, the first question is, how were you able to cope with any obstacles that were presented to you in those 3 weeks, like, that you're promoting to Emerald? Or did you have any obstacles? Or if you didn't have any those first 3 weeks, what about while you're promoting to like Diamond, Double, Triple Prez?
So I remember like, well, I don't really know what, I can't really remember. I know like for sure that people obviously were judging me because this is like, I just started and they're like, what the heck is she doing? Like, and I just had always had it in my mind that I didn't care like what anybody said or thought about it. Like, I was doing this for me and my family, and like, I literally did not care. Like, it didn't bother me. It didn't hurt my feelings at all. I just kept doing what I was doing because I knew why I was doing it. And I was like there to prove everybody wrong. And I eventually did. And so that was one thing. And then like people quit, like even, whenever I first started, like people were quitting, but I was just finding more people. And like, I don't know, like I just didn't waste my time on people who didn't want it. And I didn't let other people's words or like whatever they thought about what I was doing affect what I was doing. Like, I just did it because I was excited and I knew that I was going to go somewhere with this business. And I just like feel like I was always so positive and like just excited, and I did not care what anybody else thought. And so like even when people would quit, I'd just be like, okay, like if this isn't for you, like it's not for you, like I'm going to fill that box. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what I did. Like, I just didn't dwell on anything. I just stayed focused on my goal and went for it like every time. Like, I didn't let anything really stop me.
And I think the best thing to do too, whenever you join a business like this, or pretty much anything in life, I guess this would apply to it, but like when you're starting something, you have to like just go ahead and tell yourself, and this isn't to be negative and it's not to like whatever, but it's just to be so real and honest with yourself. Like, just know that things are gonna happen that are out of your control, that are gonna be bad, that are gonna just like whatever, that's going to just test you. Like, just know that ahead of time so that when those things come, you're not surprised. So say, I'm going to join this business and I know that it's not going to always be easy. I know that it's not always going to be perfect. There are going to be people on my team who quit, and that's not you speaking that over yourself. Like, that's just a part of it. Like, that's just life. It happens. Say, I might have kids during this business. I might get married, like whatever it is. And I'm not going to let or allow those things to distract me and get me off course, because ultimately you have to remember your why. And I mean, I just got engaged, so I could just, throw all my charts to the windows and be like, hey, wedding planning, woo. But like, I'm not stupid. Like, my wedding is being paid for by at work, so I can't stop working, or I'm not going to have any money to plan my wedding. Like, that would be dumb for me to stop working. And so I'm staying focused, and I'm helping my team promote. I'm going presidential this month. So I'm staying focused. So I think that you just have to go ahead and tell yourself up front, like, this is going to happen and it's going to be okay. And I'm going to push through it. Because if you just expect it to be perfect, and then when it's not, you're going to be like, wait, what the heck? Maybe I should not be doing this. Like, I don't know. So,
yeah, and I always knew, like, sorry, I just wanted to say this because you reminded me of this. I always knew that promotion was going to happen. Like, I told myself, like, this is going to happen. And I remember, like, when the month that Courtney and I were promoting to Triple Imprez, I was like, okay, I need like 15 to 20. I don't remember. It was a lot of distributors, but it didn't scare me. Like, I was like, I just got to go get those distributors. And then the last week, like, I needed 13,000 in volume. And that just like motivated me. Like, I just wanted it so bad. And so I was like constantly staying in touch with my team. Like, we were all working, like, I gave them small goals and we were all working together. And literally, like, it came together. Like, I didn't have to place like a ton of money or anything. Like, all of us worked together and got that volume, and I was just like so excited, like every day. So like when I was promoting, like, I was charting constantly, so I was like, oh yeah, went down again. Like, I would just get so excited. But I never let the fact that I needed like 15 distributors at the beginning of the month scare me, and I never let the fact that I needed 13,000 volume in 1 week scare me. Like, I just knew that it was going to happen, and I was going to work my butt off until midnight on the 31st and make it happen. And if it didn't, like, you're that much closer to the next month. But you have to work like it's going to happen and just like do it.
And don't wait till the last day to start. Because if you had waited till the last day of that month to start working, would you have gone presidential? Like, no, obviously not. And so, like, you were working as if it was the last day of the month every single day. And then, for like, whenever you saw, okay, I need 13,000 volume, I've got like 7 days left, whatever, I got to kick it in higher gear. Like, let's go, let's do this. Like, no more sleep, like hardly ever eating, whatever that may look like. So, I know that's what it looked like for me going triple, at least.
Yeah, and Courtney said, and it changed at 12:30. Like, everything went back to zero, and we didn't know. Like, I've like double checked all of my boxes. Like, we're like, volume is filled. Like, I know we freaking did it. Well, then like at like 12:30, it showed like our previous paid rank was Triple Imprez, and so I was like, oh my! But it was like terrifying because we had worked so hard, and I was like, it has to go. Like, that's why you also shouldn't wait till the very last day. But
I was gonna say, I've personally never waited till the last day to promote. I've always promoted like 2 days before the end of the month so that I could fix anything if I missed it.
Well, you're a responsible person.
I'm just do it
on the last day every time. But it's okay. It's always worked out. But like, it was scary. But I mean, I don't know. It was a good thing that we were working that entire week, like you were saying, or the entire month, and like months before that, because it wouldn't have all came together. Like, it was just crazy how it happened, but it was just awesome.
Promotion months are so fun. Like, people are always like, oh, they're so exhausting, but like, they're so fun. Like, they're
so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm reading some of these, and someone asked, like, where'd you find the most success? Insta stories, messaging people, blitzing parties. So you talked about Instagram is how you mostly work your business, just like I do. I know you do a lot of Insta stories because I follow you, and you do a lot of polls, and you talk about your keto coffee and your ketones and like your results and stuff like that. And so do you get a lot of feedback from your Insta stories, or is it mostly, do you think, from your posts and messaging, or what?
So I actually sign Like, all I freaking sell is keto coffee. And it's because of my Insta stories. Like, literally, I post basically every single morning that I'm making keto coffee. And even though I'm saying the same thing, like, I really don't care. Like, you're saying, like, being repetitive, like, even in my posts, like, I've said the same thing. Like, my why has changed a little bit, but I still talk about why I joined in the beginning. Like, for 3 years, I've been posting about the same thing. And so, I use my Insta stories, and like, I don't just post about the products on there. Like, I incorporate like what I'm doing throughout my day, or like be goofy, or post a quote, or just whatever, just because like with Insta stories, like the more you're posting on them, the more they're going to the front of the line for people to see. So I just do them all day long. And I do like to throw in like little poll. I don't really like polls very much. I like when I say like swipe up and type me or whatever, because a lot of people, like when I message them on the polls, like they don't respond. So I just like doing the like swipe up and type details or whatever. So I do that more. And I don't know, just like, I think that people seeing that I'm actually using the products every single day, they're like, okay, what is this about? Like, tell me about the keto coffee, or like just ask me questions about it. So I just feel like too, like whatever you're posting about is what you're going to sell. So like, I try to pick like 2 or 3 products that I post about all the time for 1 month. And I just post about those every single time. And then that's what I sell. That makes sense.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. Okay. How did she work when she had to go out? Like, if messages were coming in and she needed to send more, how did she feel?
I'm confused.
I am too. Dakota, where are you at? Do you want to unmute yourself? And okay, yeah. Ask your question.
I wrote it under it, but it's deal, not feel. Like, how did you, like, when you're out, like, you have to be out doing something, like running errands or something, you have to go out and do it. But you need to be like messaging and like answering messages that are coming in. Like, how did you deal with it all and like manage it, I guess?
Okay, so like I was kind of like what I said earlier, like when I get to that place, like I sit in the parking lot and I send messages really quick. And if I have a spot, like if I'm waiting in line, like for my groceries or something, like I'll respond back to people. And it's okay. Like, I like to respond like as soon as they message me, because I'm weird about like my notifications and all that weird stuff, you know. But not everybody expects you to message them right away. And sometimes it's good, like, to just get back to them later. Like, if you're busy, like, not just because you don't feel like talking to them, but if you're busy and like get back to them later, like they realize like, okay, I don't have to have my phone in my hand 24/7 to be good at this business. So they're realizing that you're just like, hey girl, sorry I was out running errands, but I'm here now. So I'm going to talk to you. Like, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner, you know, so that way they realize like, okay, she has like a normal life. Like, she has to run errands just like I do. And she still can work this business, because people will see that, because they don't want to think that they have to be on their phone 24/7, that they don't have time for it, because so many people think they don't have time for it. But if you're literally showing them that you do, even though you have a busy life, like, they're going to appreciate that. And if you're like short on time or whatever, like I was saying, like, get up earlier or go to bed later and like do what you need to do, because my goal is usually to get out like at least 100 messages a day. So if I have to do that, waking up at 6 a.m. and then staying up till 11, like, and doing it in like power hours or like spacing it out, like, that's what I do. So just make it fit with your schedule. And I mean, people aren't going to be mad. Like, if they are, like, it's okay. But I just feel like people like to see that you can incorporate this business no matter how busy you are.
I completely agree. And that's exactly what I do too. But with me, like, I know if I sit in the parking lot before I go in, it will take me 3 hours to go grab milk at Meijer. You know what I mean? So if I know that it's going to be quick, okay, like, let's say it's like a day where I have to go run errands the whole day. Okay. And this happens a lot, where I have like so many things to go and do. If I have to drive for more than like 15 minutes, then I'll go, like, once I get to wherever I'm going. So if I'm like 30 minutes away, I drive 30 minutes. I'm not on my phone, obviously, unless I can voice text somebody real quick. And if I have voice text, like, that's usually when I listen to them, and that's when I'll reply, because I don't really want to, like, take time to just, like, sit on my phone and listen to a voice message. So I wait till I'm in the car and I can't do anything else. So I'll listen to voice messages, I'll respond in a voice message, and then whenever I get there, it's been 30 minutes, so I'll respond to some messages, and maybe, like, I usually don't send messages if I'm just, like, in the car. I'll just respond to ones that I've got if I have any. Then I'll hop out, do whatever I've got to do, and I am focused on that thing because I'm trying to get it done quick. So I will go in, I'll get my groceries. I'm not on my phone except for my list, like, whatever, grab my groceries, go, and get in the car, and then I'll respond to messages then too if I know I'm about to drive 30 minutes again. If I'm just going to the store, which is, like, right by my house, like, I'm just going to do the whole thing without looking at my phone, because you need that time sometimes too. And if I can just do that without my phone, I'm going to get it done really, really quick, and then I'm going to have my phone for the rest of the day, and I have time to message afterwards. But if I have more than that to do, I've got more errands. If I have more errands, then I will just, like if I'm sitting in the car dealership, like, I'm going to take my, like, I always sit with my planners, which is where I have, like, my follow-ups and whatever. Like, I sit with my planners while I'm waiting for my car to be taken care of, and just timing things out like that, like, knowing, okay, I'm going to the car dealership, I'm thinking ahead of time, I know I'm going to be there for at least 30 minutes, I'm not just going to be able to message for 30 minutes because I have to do my follow-ups today too. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that. So I plan out my day. Like, you have to be strategic, and to be honest with you, if you do it the night before, it's going to be so much easier for you to do than just planning it out that day. Because if I plan out the night before and I'm like, okay, tomorrow, like, so Wednesday, I know that I have, like, 3 different things to do, and it's going to take up a lot of time. So I'm going to have to strategically plan around those things, because one of the things I definitely cannot have my phone for. So I'm just going to have to kind of just plan. And so you can message in the car, or you can just be really, really quick and, whatever. So, I mean, you can do it all tons of different ways. But like she said, like, if you're staying up later and just sacrificing a little bit of that sleep, it shouldn't stress you out as much. Even whenever I had jobs, I wasn't as stressed because I was planning out my time and I was being strategic with it. And Cami Dempsey always says, like, if you don't tell your time where to go, or what is it? What's the saying? Have you heard it before? She's like, if you don't control your time will control you. Or, like, if you don't tell your time, like, your time's going to go somewhere, you have to tell it where to go. Something like that. So whatever. Basically, control your time. I think that was it. I'm trying to find our post on our team page to make sure.
Okay.
1 second. This lovely internet's just being a little slow.
Mommy.
What?
We're not ever working.
It's not ever working. Quit tattling on people. Ella, I'm just kidding. She is so tired. Oh my
God. That's so funny. Okay, wait. I'm trying to see where I asked. Oh, here we go. Okay, so one is they were both basically like, how do you stay organized? Like, with your enrollments each month to make sure that you reach your volume goals, like, to maintain, and how do you take care of your customers?
Sorry. So how do I stay organized? Like, in general, or are we talking about, like, with my customers and stuff?
Just do with your customers, because we only have time for this question. So just do, like, how do you keep up with your customers so that you can, like, maintain each month and not have to, like, re-get that volume every month?
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't really hear because she was screaming.
No,
so I started doing this year, like, and I really, really like it. Where's it at? Dang it. Oh, here it is. So I bought one of these, like, mini little binder things. Hold on. And it has, I have like these loyal customer sheets. And it just has like their name, which I'm like a paper person. So it has their name, their ID number, their email, what products they ordered, and then like notes at the bottom. So I put them in here, and I always have people like text me and tell them to text me when they get their product. And so usually they're like, hey, I got it in, like, so that I can tell them the instructions or whatever. And then I use this, and like every month I just go through it and go back through the people from like January or whatever. And I talk to them about like if they're getting results or if they want to switch products or whatever. I also put on here like who I moved them under, so I know like for future reference. But it's helped me a lot because I can see like what they ordered each month. And it also helps me keep up with like if they declined or something like that, you know, so I know like when I go through my eSuite and I type in their name or something to like check on their status or whatever, that I know like where they are. And then it'll be good for like whenever there's like BOGOs and stuff, like I can just go through here, like I have their phone number or their email and I can just message them right through here. So it has like the order date and the products ordered and like special notes and goals. And that's where I kind of write like if they were interested in being a distributor at one point, or who I moved them under, or how much weight they were wanting to lose, just so that whenever I text them, I can like bring up that conversation again. So that's pretty much what I do for customers now. I didn't really have a good system before, so I wanted to try this, and it's been working really well. Like I'm actually keeping up with everybody, and I like it. It's easy. It doesn't like I just do this at night. Like the customers I sign that day, I just add them to this little binder thing.
And there's so many different things you can do for customers too. Like I used to use that system too. I've made a couple videos. There's a lot on YouTube. So if that's not what works for you, find something else that does, because everybody's going to have a different system. But I really do like that system too, and it's pretty simple. So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty much all the time that we have. So can you share a copy of this sheet that you use?
Yeah, I can send it to you. That's what I was just typing.
Okay, perfect.
I'll just send it to you, Morgan, and then you can share whatever.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for getting on here. That was so helpful. I know that I learned a lot of tips, so hopefully everybody else took notes too. But hopefully you can get Ella to sleep.
Oh my gosh. I know. She's like, I was trying to get y'all to see she was limping over here.
It's so funny.
Really, like,
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You'll have a great rest of your week. Bye.
You too. Bye.